Well, we'll see if WGS, the Nubis here, try to turn this series around, move it to match point, get yet another map win. So 2 on the season, tying up their record from season 1. Can they exceed it? That is now the question. BlossoM is going to be looking for that first victory. And with the momentum shift that they saw on King's Row, might just be able to go ahead and close this out with a 3-1.
Going to be, you know, a big miracle. I think if WGS can pull it back, they will attack first here, as BlossoM will obviously choose to defend first with On's Illicit, the DPS duo on the Widow Junkrat. They will have a secondary line of defense against Dive with Swoon flexing over to the Brigida. It also gives them a little bit of burst to keep either Mineral on the high ground or to keep Ons alive at range. Arrow scouts this out. Looks like we will see a composition swap.
And Dive, yep.
Yep, Dive here. Still going to be tough against the Brigida, but it's, I think, a better option than what they were trying to run just moments ago. Let's see how good Decal plays on this Genji, because that's part of the reason why they picked the map.
Already 2 tags coming through, one of them a headshot there from Ons. Start wrapping around the side, getting ready to move up onto that mid ground. BlossoM still maintaining the position for the moment. There's that trap zone down right behind the barrier, just in case somebody comes jumping through. An Arrow.
He's just all over the place.
Okay. He's going to be looking for that Widowmaker, but as he gets the swap off, it's going to be Z-Bag going down. Take away. Sia pushing forward. Mega Pack is going to be grabbed by Decal, so we'll be able to stay alive and likely rejoin with his team. They're looking for him, though. Bolt comes down, but not going to find that shot.
Okay, WGS needs to start being decisive. They cannot afford to switch Arrow again to a different hero. They need to buy space. They need to be aggressive. They need to get a Dragon Blade built. And then they need to identify where Swoon will stand and how to kill him first. These are a lot of things to ask of a team that's only got 2 minutes and 40 seconds to make something happen here with so many hero swaps in the beginning. But they still got plenty of time to execute. They just need to start now. They need to start heavily building for this play. Here comes the push.
Yeah, jump in onto the point. Z-Bag already down to about half HP. Rockets come through, and he just gets melted down. Ons finds that final shot. Body tag there onto Keanu as well.
Decal builds only 10% extra of a blade during this failed attempt, so not much of an eco push either. Ons does pop his infra sight, so they're going to further delay this. Illicit grabs that kill onto Keanu at the end of the day. He's holding on to this Riptire, so he already has, by default now, the second answer to the Genji. Yep. Next to Brigida's Shield Bash stun. So even if Decal now builds a blade, it's going to have to, again, be perfect coordination to kill the Brigida, and then they're going to have to deal with the Riptire as well. Decal just wants to get one more left click, full set damage off here so we can look for the supports. Look at the positioning here, though. Very well played by BlossoM. Only Mineral is really exposed. I like this, though. Everyone's getting raised. So they can use mobility options not only to get on top of the point, but also to do some damage here with the Winston this far up. Blade is ready.
Onto the low ground here at the moment. They're going to go ahead and get rid of that armor. That's going to be the Dragon Blade out. Dashes forward, looking for Ons. The Flexion comes down. But he might just be losing out on this one. Decal gets moved to the side. Doesn't find anything for that Dragon Blade. The Riptire doesn't even have to be used to try to shut it out. Transcendence in from last row. Rally was used by Swoon. Everybody receiving that armor, but Ons still will fall. Decal down onto the low ground, stunned up by the Brigitte and eliminated. And now Sia can push forward and pop space out of the mech. A Riptire for good measure starts to come through, but Arrow is at least able to snipe that, so maybe saving the life of Z-Bag at least for a little bit longer. Has to dip into the side room to keep himself away from that. Self-destruct. Sia will make it back into the mech, and Illicit is still spamming away at this Primal Rage Winston. Back falls low, face nearly
almost another tire.
Yeah, nearly does have that one. They managed to get rid of FaZe. Totori is still dead, so Swoon is going to be that sole support at the moment. Ons gets picked off. Sia onto the high ground, trying to eliminate that Winston. Gets taken out of that mech, but Z-Bag will die in the end. Res out from Keanu, brings the Winston back through. Decal pushes forward, looking for another Dragon Blade. 32% left to go. Right click's coming down. Totori swaps over to the Lucio, but Will just gets zapped to death. Seems like WGS might just be able to grind away at BlossoM here on point A and get this cap, but with barely any time remaining in the bank, it's going to be just over 4 minutes now for this B push.
I think this goes back to, again, to the coordination of WGS. Just having a better attack there than BlossoM could defend in terms of coordination. They couldn't play around the Riptire. They're going for the double cap now. They've got a lot of ults.
If they can get this on this push, it would still be huge. Decal, though, getting stunned up, and Ons finds the shot. Sia shutting down Seabag with that self-destruct, and that is going to be WGS going ahead, peeling back. Did get one tick.
Yeah, I mean, it's still something, and they've got a weak time bank, even if they do finish now, no matter what, for 2018 Season 2 standards of time banks on Assault.
Sure, yeah.
Back in the day, if they had 3 minutes, we'd be losing our minds, but not today. Now it feels like a loss already. Either way, you know, that was their biggest tool, shut down by just simply a shield bash. Now they've built time for another rip tire. And, you know, the attack there was really well coordinated by WGS. I thought they were going to get shoved off. They got the second ult push ready, but they failed. So now they're going to, again, need further time to try to eco their way into this. Alyssum wants to hold the tire as long as he can.
By himself. To rejoin in, can feed a lot of ult charge over to Hyunwoo here between both of the tanks if they can exit safely. Arrow just taking shots for someone. Transcendence out from Blastro. It's going to be a charge forward onto the point here from the side of WGS. Seabag going low, will get taken down on, finds that killing blow. Second tick nearly on the way for WGS, but a nice pop out of the back there. Will force that self-destruct from FaZe. Second tick comes through, 78.1% now as Ons gets eliminated by Arrow. Swoon going down, Tori the soul support will fall. Blastro finds that kill. Now it's going to be desperate time buying here from the side of BlossoM just to try to stop this cap from coming through. They nearly have it, 92.5% as Mineral dies yet again. Sia going to be eliminated. Self-destruct comes down, but the bubble will just absorb all of that blast. On swaps to the bank, drops in, Swoon charges forward with that Transcendence, helping to keep the Tori alive, trying to buy enough time for him to get that Valkyrie. He will, he takes in the sky, but he will just get sniped out. Arrow finds the hit. On comes back in, gets rid of Blastro, but then dies. Swoon also falling. Self-destruct from FaZe, buying a little bit more space. Blizzard reads up, it's to find Seabag, but it's a Dragon Blade here from Decal, and I don't think they're going to have anything to shut it down this time. Mineral going to die even with the Primal Rage, does not matter. Final swipe cuts through to Tori. And it seems like WGS will be able to get this cap. 1 minute and 46 seconds remaining.
Very much a weak time bank, but it was well executed there, the final push. A little bit greedy. I was talking about how Alyssum wanted to hold the rip tire to the last second, but I mean, he literally held it until the last second, so much so that it was late, and all he was able to do was nearly get the DMAC onto FaZe. FaZe just self-destructed to be safe there, got his remac up anyway, so it ended up being a positive trade in terms of ults at that moment. And they got the snowball off. Sure, a lot of time was bought, mostly on the A defense, though, more than the B. A lot of time was bought by the Mei wall, the ice block, but you know, WGS had a lot to say about that, with the Decal Genji coming through, killing the Mei eventually there, and then it was just very much the end of that. So, BlossoM fans, you can see here, starting to feel the pressure, but it's still a defense they've got available now, or sorry, an attack they have available to beat the defense, to beat the time bank. And this map is by no means over for BlossoM. Just because WGS got a completion does not mean they win the map. I mean, this is a weak time bank, again, by meta standards right now in 2018. So, on the defense here, we are going to see, it looks like the same composition for WGS. And then on this attack, seems to be Illicit Ons on the Widow Genji. And only really Runaway has been able to find success with. I always refer to some of these strats that we see rarely coin them based on the team that's winning with them, and that is Runaway right now. Can work well against the Junkrat Widow, because if you're good at the deflections, as we've seen Illicit come up big on this map before, you deflect the Junkrat damage back into the defensive setup. You build a bunch of Dragon Blade from that. Even if you fail that push, you end up with an ult advantage. So it's one of the ways you can make it happen. Will Swoon stick with the Ana? That is yet to be seen. In fact, Ons will switch away from this anyways, so looks like they're going to switch, or rather keep the Ana.
So Ana going to stay, so looking for still the double sniper, but with Ana Hanzo coming in.
Yeah.
Right now just hovering under here onto the low ground, but the Hulk comes down, Discord Orb in, and Arrow finds the shot on a Mineral. Good opening kill. Forces the res from the Tori. Rockets coming down. They would have get rid of that Winston again. It's a lot of damage, but we'll be okay this time around.
The thing that Swoon can do with this Ana is long-range heal the Genji to pocket him from a distance.
Double dive onto the top. Illicit finds Arrow as he's looking the other way. Decal will answer back, gets rid of that Genji, but Decal will fall. Res going to be used. Arrow's back into the fight. Ons on the hunt. Trying to find Lastro. Unable
but they don't knock them off.
Yeah, they can't dislodge them here.
Mineral.
Another attempt coming through.
the only one that matters falling off is the Orisa, and they just can't get her off. So Z-Bag stays up here. They do maintain full control right now. And, you know, I guess the one thing for BlossoM, the one saving grace, I don't even know if saving grace, but the bad thing for WGS is they don't have a Riptire yet. That's the one thing they're really missing, but everything else is just completely in their control at this moment in time.
Oh, Arrow's going to die off the bat again. Jump to the side, Mineral trying to charge up here for this primal range. Oh, coming through, not going to grab anything, but Illicit was eliminated there by Decal. Wait, that's at the start. Has the self-destruct res attempted. Not going to see that one come through. Does get interrupted, and Decal pops out of that mech and takes him down.
I guess the Riptire just did a little bit of damage, didn't get a kill, but wasn't destroyed there. We didn't really see exactly what happened to him. I think it just damaged the tanks. But they do still continue to hold this high ground. Decal gets another kill. I mean, the guy is just making this defense possible. Off the back of him, and Arrow just threatening the backline. When BlossoM dives in, the immobile support, the Ana, has to back away. Ons on the, Hanzo has to back away. Because there's no, when Mineral goes in and Sia goes in, no one could save them. Only Ana could sleep dart potentially, but that's so difficult to do against a Tracer. This is their best shot. They're about to have Blade. There's no Riptire this time.
Dragon Strike used.
Okay, they got off the Orisa, off the high ground.
Takes him down. Now, find success here onto the point. Swoon going low, gonna get pocketed back up. Big deflection comes down now. Dragon Blade available with his Nano. Ult pulls him back to the side. He's still not finding anything. Trying to get in onto Hyuna. Will be able to take him down. It's going to be that 1-for-1 on the healers as Swoon did fall. But now Mineral and Sia both get eliminated. And WGS suddenly looking like they might be able to execute on a full hold here on Anubis.
Looks like it's definitely going to... Well, I don't want to say it's definitely going to be a full hold, but... Like, I mean, look at the war chest of BlossoM, or rather the lack thereof.
It's going to be a very small time bank, if anything.
I mean, can they do it with this comp? No, they have to switch. I think it's time for Ana to switch as well. This isn't going to work with a dive comp. You almost need to go tanks and go for a Moira Lucio. Now they're just hoping, again, they're relying on Ons' mechanical skill. Let's just throw him on the Widow. Let's put him on the high ground, and let's see what happens. Let's see how many headshots he gets. He's going to have to break through this barrier first. WGS, massive advantage. Riptire as well. Here it comes.
Drops that one in. Just finds Satori off the bat. He will get taken out. Illicit eliminated by Decal. He is just doing all the heavy lifting right now on this defense for WGS.
Swoon, I mean, he's almost going to have a Nano, but like, who's he going to Nano? Nano Winston to try to get a Primal Rage? The Biotic Grenade can deny healing at a long distance here, but you're really grasping at straws with that. Damage boost coming through. Almost feels like that's the whole idea here with the Ana right now. Damage boost of Bio Grenade. I mean, go for it, I guess.
Comes in,
unprotected backline.
Getting jumped on in from the back. Will get taken down. FaZe comes in with a follow-up and helps Arrow. Eliminating that Mercy. 3 seconds remaining. Not even a single tick going to be grabbed here for the side of BlossoM so far. Z-Bag get eliminated. Sia's out of the back. The rest comes down. It's going to be the Orisa rejoining. Lastro has that Transcendence alive. Bio Grenade comes through. And Swoon will get taken out. The Pulse Bomb. Finding the kill. Ana boost tossed in on a Mineral before the Ana died, but don't think he's going to be surviving for too much longer. Manages to get rid of the enemy Junkrat, but he will fall.
That's it. That's
just
the hold,
man. Full hold comes through for WGS. BlossoM now falling as WGS gets their 3rd map win of this season and moves to match point.
Their 1st map win ever on Assault career as well. It'll be their 3rd map with Temple Anubis. They do take it.
3rd time's a charm.
3rd time's a charm here. They had the better defensive setup, and unfortunately for BlossoM, they just relied once again on the Widow. I said it last season when we had Insane on the roster. We don't know where he ended up. I know he tried out for a lot of teams. I don't know where the guy did end up, but we said that we would like to see more flexibility on the DPS lineup of BlossoM, because even though they are incredibly mechanically skilled, sometimes there isn't coordination with that. And sometimes you're running your head into a brick wall trying to force the Widow comps to work to find success. Illicit was a great Tracer player, or not Illicit, sorry, Insane was a great Tracer player, had a decent Genji. Illicit kind of stepped into that role now, but I think that this team would do better if they, even though Ons is the most famous player on their team, and one of the most famous players in our league, I think they would do better if they played him like Achilios played for Ella Mystic, for example, had a substitute, had the potential to switch away from this player, play him on maps where it's going to be great for Widow, or at least improve his hero pool, improve the coordination around him to make it so that he can carry better, because he does carry, he is going to hit the headshots when he given opportunities to do so. Well, the team coordination doesn't always protect him, or sometimes because the team dive is so weak, he's forced to just attack Widow and jump up on the high ground, hope for the best. On Anubis, for example, he was their strength and their weakness in Season 1, and I think as we kind of start to close out our regular season here for Season 2,
starting to look that way again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're seeing kind of a memorable, and not a memorable, but like a familiar, that's what I was trying to say, transition here towards the end.
I mean, they do have a sub that they can use. It's Lip. Never
Yeah, that is true.
Lip is listed as a sub for
I forget that he exists because he never plays.
But something tells me we're probably just not going to see him. I don't see any shuffling going on in the booth at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be the same roster coming through. So BlossoM flip back to their map choice for Escort, but this is it. This is the last chance to get a win. If they cannot close this out, extend us to a 5th and final game for a tiebreaker on Achilios, they will be the only team finishing Season 2 without a single match win.
Yeah, we're very close to that now, and it's crazy to think that, you know, this situation would occur, especially because when we go to the last 2 map types, that's where BlossoM is favored because of Ons, because it's the strong place to play Widow, because the open areas are where he can excel. Decal ends up coming big on this Dragon Blade, despite Dotori's best efforts there. And, I mean, when we look at the next map, it's a 1-8 for WGS. BlossoM had a 3-6 scoreline for Escort. The only map win was for Junkertown. It was 1-4 for WGS. I think that was against MVP Space last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. I think their wins versus MVP were Nimbani and Junkertown.
Rialto's a map that's never been played by BlossoM. I think this might be the time to play it. If you play Junkertown, sure, you give Ons the best opportunity to carry on Widow, but you're also playing against the enemy Junkrat who's been outplaying you. Decal is going to find those Riptires quickly. You're also going to then face against Decal's Genji. They have more flexibility than you, so if you play what used to be a one-dimensional map with Junkertown, which is no longer, with the Roadhog being a big factor, the Genji dive, I think you're making a mistake. It will take us to Gibraltar.
Again, okay.
Similar kind of style of play where you can play around Ons, especially on the defense, and then as you are attacking, giving them line of sight on the hangar for B, and then on the high ground there on the right side for C. If you can muster up the coordination that feels absent in this series for your tank line, if Mineral and Sia can push through, win those trades, get you onto that high ground and attack, you can have a good push. Otherwise, this is going to be about defense, defense, and more defense for BlossoM. It's going to feel similar to Kings Row in a lot of ways. Let's see if they can make it happen consistently here to force that 5th map.
So watch point Gibraltar for the 2nd time this evening. But do we see a series end here? Or do we see Achilios for a 5th and final map, a tiebreaker between these two bottomed out squads in Group A?
That is the question. Will be the...
Because then it's, you know, then it's, not to cut you off, but then it's, can WGS win on control twice in the same series?
Yeah,
Just got their first victory.
But before we get into that, we got to go to this first map, and that's where we're going to have WGS defend first. They actually run the blind Brigida, which I think is having a little bit too much faith in BlossoM in a lot of ways. They're not going to be running dive. They're not going to be running Genji at all. I mean, sure, Mineral is going to still dive with the Swinson. You can give more opportunities to Arrow with this, but I think the Brigida has a bigger place with the Hanzo.
Gano just for a half a second sticks his head out.
And that's what Ons does. You give him an opportunity, he's going to kill it. I mean, every time, really. It's just that, like, if the tanks are
killing him,
if the tanks are killing him, he can't do anything. But in this case, poke a head out. Oops. You're dead.
Playing back way too conservatively here. Most WGS, this is going to be a lot of space spot. Maybe even just a cap here on the
Literally,
if they want to push forward.
a one-kill cap.
They are going to be looking for the contest. Face pushes forward, nearly loses the mech. Just to try to buy some time for everybody else to rejoin. Decal now moving up. Seabag's already dead. Not sure where exactly he died at, but Dragon Strike comes through. Face runs straight through the ultimate, and that will cost him his mech. And that's going to be the point, going over to BlossoM very rapidly with 5:15 on the clock for the hangar phase.
I mean, to say he ran through it isn't really fair. He shoved through by Sia and Mineral. It was lose-lose there. He dies. They get the free push basically off of that pick onto Hyunwoo alone. On's finally taken out here. His reign of terror ends, and this is a huge moment for WGS because it means they can prevent On from getting on top of the shuttle.
Oh. Well, you say that, but Rez comes down the bubble.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
really help keep the Tory alive in all of that. But Lastro just follows up, kills him again, twice in a row. Taking down the enemy Widow and then gets minerals. Z-Bag gonna be taken out by that self-destruct from Sia, but the Rez is there from Piano. WGS stabilizing for the moment. But this would have to be one hell of a hold. 4.5 minutes for the Hangar phase to stop BlossoM from making it through. Another Dragon Strike on the way here from Illicit. We'll have that in just a second.
Yeah. Now that can be used to kind of corral the WGS members in. If they can push them out and then stop them from re-entering, that would be huge. It doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. The fight is already lost as Ons is dead. I don't think Totori has a res. Even if he does, still completely halted here. Would be too risky to attempt. On's going to make the swap over to Brigitte. They want to shut down the Genji this way. But it does limit what he could do on the Widow. They're just basically conceded that they will not, at least not for now, get on top of the Aurora here and get that Widowmaker line of sight. Like, it's just not going to happen against this dive with the Genji. Even though they have the Dragon Strike, which could open it up, it's just too risky. And I like this swap. It's pretty rare for Ons, but I like it.
Yeah, stun coming through. He's trying to stay alive. The Dragon Strike rolling in. Barely helps keep that Brigitte in the fight. Soon he's going to pop that Transcendence as well to get ready to drop down onto the low ground. Pulse Bomb, barely clipping Illicit, but he's able to jump back. New ability. Coming in handy here for the Hanzo.
Oh, it's pretty cool, actually. The stun into the Dragon Strike guaranteed that first kill. WGS has ult advantage, but they can't use it while everyone's in spawn. They will be able to jump onto this point and contest with the ultimate advantage they have. So this is not a free B, not yet, for BlossoM. Pun intended on that one, but point B here is not theirs for the taking until WGS pulls out the Blade, pulls out the Transcendence, and both tank ultimates. It's going to be a rough road here to get through. Illicit's just looking for a Dragon Strike to help guarantee that.
Getting a couple tags in. Primal range for both of these Winstons. Set to go. Thought he found Swoon, but that's going to be Illicit turning things around. Well, Primal range coming out. Just trying to smack anything that he can find. Jumps back over onto the card. They get there onto Ons, who nearly has a rally set. Totori going to get picked off by that self-destruction phase. WGS trying to retain control, trying to regain control rather over this card, but now they lose Hyunwoo. Trade one onto Ons, but Lastro goes down and it's no supports available. Arrows tried swapping to this Doomfist, but he's half HP. Can't really poke forward, has to go get the mini pack.
Big win here for BlossoM is that WGS used everything. I talked about how many ults they have. They don't have any left. So now they can actually look to really force this with the Dragon Strike on top of the point. They can get over there. No kills just yet.
Yeah, they can actually keep that one contested. Arrow jumping into the back for an execution, but Wait just died, 3 HP.
Where
so
is he
very
now,
low. The spray, even from that far away from Sia, is enough to take him down. Just needed really just one bullet to make a contact there onto that Doomfist, so he does fall. FaZe trying to play forward by himself, has Hyunwoo trying to pocket it, but both of them just going to be dying, and that's going to be a completion on to point B. 3 minutes, 20 seconds now for the side of BlossoM on this final stretch. The members here getting desynced with their respawns. We'll have to just pile off the side of the map.
Yeah. I mean, it was essentially very crafty play by BlossoM, baiting out those ultimates. Arrow's going to make the swap to the Sombra here real quick. Don't know how long he's going to stick with this one. It's very greedy. I just switches right back to the Widow. Checks the comp. And, I mean, he could have stuck with it, but let's be real. The Widow was the better option. If they give Ons high ground, it's going to be a bad time.
Going to be a Dragon Blade out from Decal. Finds two. That's going to be the supports now. A third. On's going to die. 4 members down on the side of BlossoM. They do get locked up, do get halted. WGS can try to play around this corner.
This time,
they don't have a Reinhardt, they don't have an Orisa, so they don't have a constant shield to stand behind on the corner to maintain this position, but
this time they do it with one ultimate though, or two I guess. They are able to make the swap over to the Brigitte now, which kind of goes into what you were saying, and they do maintain control of the Widow matchup for the moment.
Back stun, has a primal range. Looks over to the side. Keep himself nice and fit here.
There's the win on the Brigitte trade.
Dives into the back, he's looking for Swoon, almost has the Transcendence ready to go, and he still has not died. He might be able to build this one up, actually. Stuck in the bubble, going to absorb that. Faints with his own, finds Ons. Can't make it back to the back. Swoon will die yet again. Both supports going to be taken down as his Primal Rage Winston comes up huge, smacks Mineral back into the fight to try to finish him off. They haven't been able to get that kill yet, but they're still pushing for it. They're still looking for it. More zaps. That constant healing coming out of Illicit on this Brigitte will keep Mineral alive. No further stagger to be found.
Yeah, I mean, this
minute and a half now.
This is still Arrow holding this advantage, right? This is what this entire push is about on C, is getting a Widow onto that high ground, right up this ramp here. They can't do it right now. So you can see they're trying to use this to get that advantage, but where's Ons? He can't get in there yet, so he's totally worthless right now. He's going to actually flank around the left side instead.
He's coming up over the top right side of Arrow here at the moment from his perspective.
Yep.
Looking for the shot.
Doing a lot of damage from here, actually.
Jumps out phase a bit. Now maybe going to pop over the top again. Trying to hunt down Arrow. Cart's going to be moving forward. Rally being used by Illicit. Hands all that armor over to Swift and Tori, and they both have their ultimates set to go. Tori's going to start things off, popping out that Valkyrie. Swoon with the Transcendence ready to go. Lastro uses his, hoping to keep people alive through that Earth Shatter, but he dies as soon as the Transcendence is gone, and Z-Bag does as well. WGS waiting for the Zenyatta to come back in. Yano all by himself. On's going to be res back in.
He's on the high ground.
Alive, dashes to the side, keeps himself in the fight. Decal takes down Illicit. Z-Bag's dead again. Self-destruct into the air from Sia, looking for some big goals, and he's going to find Hianu. Couldn't get behind the shield of Decal, and then he gets his head taken off immediately thereafter. Phase charges forward, manages to get rid of the Reinhardt before that Earth Shatter can come online. And WGS do manage to hold them off for the moment. 15 seconds remaining. Can they stop this push? Z-Bag going in pretty deep. He's trying to isolate a target. Might have just isolated himself, but does manage to escape. Swoon is now dead, as is On's respawn's just coming through now.
You know, with no swap for Mineral here, they're just going to have to rely on this Earth Shatter. He can't even get into position to use it, though.
Time comes through, it's going to be Sia and Illicit both going down. Swoon and Tori trying to stay alive. Mineral gets popped by that self-destruct, and that will be the hold completed by WGS, denying that third and final tick away.
Today is not a happy day for either of these teams. They have to face off winless. One of them walks away a victor, and it's looking more and more likely we will see a fifth map, but you can just see in this series alone, in each and every map and each and every decision that's made, that these teams are just behind the curve. They don't have the snappy decisions that we see from teams like Runaway, Metabellum, any playoff team for that matter. They're just behind, unfortunately, and it really shows, I think, for BlossoM at moments like this where they have massive advantages, but they don't change their comp. They stay with the Reinhardt. Ons gets high ground. And instead of supporting him to make sure that he can kill everyone, that they can collapse on the point and get it, everyone's trying to spawn camp against the Brigitte. They're getting stunned. Ons can't get line of sight because his team is literally pushing everyone away from him so they can get behind this thing you see to the right of your screen. He cannot shoot them because his tank line is pushing it out of his line of sight. And, you know, there's just these small things, I think, that if the team communicated better, or perhaps if they had a higher morale right now, because, I mean, it's tough to be like, okay, we went winless, but we win this one, right? Oh, God, we're losing this one. You know, you're not in the right place mentally. But in some of these small moments, you can see, even though BlossoM looks great on the Widow, they have Illicit's Hanzo as well. They picked Gibraltar. This all makes sense, right? It's all going according to plan. You know, there are just some big glaring problems with this squad right now. And
yeah.
On the side of WGS, I feel like it's less telling in terms of coordination and what the team is trying to do in communication. But mechanically, there have been some mistakes on their side as well. We're going to see, it looks like, at least temporarily here, Ana form Arrow to have some long-range healing to build a Dragon Blade for Decal. Then he'll switch off of it, but just for the beginning. Just want to help boost him up so that he can just get free left clicks. Now he's switching to the Widow.
He doesn't get much damage in there, just going to be 10% for the Dragon Blade. Swamp over to the Zenyatta here from Lastro. Got plays forward, deflection. Going to go down again. Pushes up over the top, looking for some right clicks. Short hop to the side, not going to find any damage. And they're just really playing around him being forward. Now they go forward with Face, but gets taken down to about half. Arrow and Decal both eliminated as Ons starts to pop up, looking for this defense, trying to shut out WGS on their attack and force this fifth and final game. Ons does go down, but the cart isn't moving at the moment. In fact, it's rolling back. No one is playing on it.
They're trying to play
finally start working their way into the underpass.
They're trying to play around Decal getting a blade, and FaZe does get on the cart, like you say, so it's slowly moving forward, but they're trying to pocket Decal, trying to coordinate an attack where he gets a blade. And that's what WGS has been doing better in the series, is that team coordination. Lastro's dead, though. This is going to be halted. This is going to be a reset.
Problem is they're putting all their eggs in one basket.
Certainly.
And if that does not work out, then it seems like we'd be going to Achilios.
But mission accomplished on the Blade. He's 91%. Just one more set of left clicks will give him that Dragon Blade. They're going to have both support ultimates soon. Arrow's going to switch here to the Tracer for full dive potential, as Z-Bag's just going to intentionally let the heals come through. Unfortunately, Mercer already had Valkyrie. Okay, this is the moment where you kill the Widow or the Hanzo, supports if you can find them, and you grab A. If you fail here, your time bank is going to be very weak, if you have one at all.
Wait, Seth draws this one out. Not going to be on the high ground, though. That's where most of the action is. Dashes through, looks for the kill. Onto the Mercy, will find Mineral. Almost by accident, but otherwise not going to be coming up with much of Mineral. Is going to be res back in. Z-Bag takes down Sia. Sia takes down FaZe. 1.37 meters left to go here for WGS on this first point, and that's going to be Lastro popping out. Transcendence having that Zenyatta folk dance against Swoon, as they both push forward with the Transcendence.
Looks like a hold here for BlossoM for now.
Swoon getting left on, though. Primal Rage comes out from Z-Bag, trying to take him down, but the pocket is here from Tori. The damage just is not enough. Z-Bag will be eliminated, so yeah, as you say, BlossoM going to maintain this hold. Yano comes back in, pops the res, bringing the Winston back into the fight. Mineral with his own Primal Rage, going into the side, trying to lock down Lastro. He doesn't have a Mercy to save his life. He doesn't have a Transcendence. He's just going to go down. BlossoM, stop that cart. 1.37 meters away. Do not let it inch forward at all. In all of this chaos, we'll maintain the hold.
I mean, this is one of those moments where the coordination to build the Blade was so amazing. You have players like Edison, when given opportunity, who always come up big, right? That's why Edison's such a superstar right now. Same with Hawksall, same with everyone who's ever been on that carry position. The entire crux of this push was to build a Blade, and Decal air blades it, comes up with nothing. It's the mechanical skill that's missing for WGS. Coordination is good, but when it's time to pull the Blade, he just cannot have a good one. BlossoM plays back, and he pulls it too early. He makes a small mechanical mistake. Next thing you know, looks like we're going to a Game 5. So the theme of this series continues, I think, in a lot of ways. Arrow's holding a pulse bomb now. He's looking for an opportunity here to get into the backline. Here comes the dive.
Jump onto the high ground, just answering Z-Bag immediately, and he will die right off the start of the fight. Mineral going to be traded out, though, and Sia low on the mech, but he does have that self-destruct at least. Trying to get back through. Also, that one down will rejoin.
Got a Dragon Strike, too.
Control over this card. Decal's going to die as that Dragon Blade becomes available. Self-destruct comes in, and Illicit just holding the ultimate for now. They know that they are handily winning this fight. There's only 8 seconds remaining now. They have to get over to the card. Decal, not sure if he's going to be able to get in range. Lastro's going to have to pop the ult just to charge in, perhaps.
Yeah, someone's going to have to be on it, though.
Okay, they get it with the Tracer. So Arrow buys time. He wants to save this Transcendence to get as much healing onto his teammates as he possibly can. Right now, he's going to be gated out. Dragon Blade comes out. There's going to be Ons eliminated.
So well done.
Finds both supports. Illicit manages to get rid of Decal, so no follow-up off the backside of that, but the damage might just be done, and it looks like it is. Sia going to be eliminated now. Illicit goes down. WGS pushed forward. They will get the completion onto A. That was the play that they were looking for off the bat. They finally get it here at the 11th hour.
I know everyone's screaming about Decal here now with the Blade, the dash kills, but it was Arrow who was able to make that clutch tag to make that possible to get him in. Lastro knew that if things went bad for Decal, he was going to need to use the Transcendence. He didn't have to, so he still has it here, but he knew the Transcendence could even empower the Blade. WGS communicated that whole situation together so well and made this happen. Now they've extended this map. Now they've maybe shut down the series. We may not be going to a Game 5 if they can continue this momentum, but it's just one small step. Here comes Z-Bag looking for the supports.
Really going to be looking for a fast cap. Z-Bag's going to drop down, falls to about half HP. Still has the Primal Range. Doesn't have to pop it. Doesn't feel the pressure. Knows that he's safe, knowing his limits at the moment. This corridor in onto Illicit. He's going to go down. Illicit will be eliminated as Decal finds 2, but he will also get taken out. The tag from the side from Ons will eliminate the Genji. But everyone is just dying around this Widowmaker, including Sia, who will now get knocked out and will get taken down. Cart can keep moving forward. Nearly was able to trade one out there onto Lastro.
BlossoM is losing,
pistol, but
losing control of this game very quickly. I mean,
slipping through their fingers.
They're just starting to string in and give away free respawn staggers. They're trying to hide here with the Brigitte. Risky engage.
They had a death grip on it. On point A. On's open syncs up though. Getting getting rid of Keanu. Cal going to fall. Illicit going to be exchanged as Mineral goes forward with the Primal Rage, corners Lastro, and will take him down. Just yet again, being very patient with the use of that Transcendence, manages to hold on to it. Seabag with his own Primal Rage, going to have to try to exit. Doesn't have very much HP remaining.
It's going to have to be Decal again. They're going to have to tag in and make the blade happen. Swoon can be the MVP here. Swoon can literally bring us to a game 5 right now if he makes this happen with the Transcendence too. It's going to be that matchup there.
Big stagger on the face.
That's huge.
Gonna have to be waiting for him.
I think he's going to have to be patient with this blade, but he might not want to.
What's this meaning up top? That's going to be Arrow getting the shot on the Swoon. Tori's going to
This is their moment. It has to be now.
He's going to have to try to go for the res, you would think. Dragon Blade's out. Decal binds Ons. No res onto the Zenyatta yet, and he had that Transcendence. They really need that to try to hold this point. He's going to be trying to zip his way back in as quickly as he possibly can. Self-destruct comes down, not going to find a pick. FaZe just cutting around the corner, comes back in, and now the Tori's going to be eliminated. Swoon rejoins Transcendence, helping to keep the tankier members of BlossoM alive. Seabag is under fire, going low, the pocket from Yano trying to keep him alive,
so low.
And he's not going to die yet, but there's 10 seconds remaining. Mineral's going to fall. The Tori swaps over to the Ana. Arrow finds the shot there onto Illicit, follows up, gets rid of Ons. Sia going to be popped out of the mech. The Tori goes down. Swoon will be eliminated here on the backside of the fight. They get a second lease on life. WGS keep on moving. They complete on the B. 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Smart.
They have to go to the distance. They basically have to finish this match.
Smart swaps from BlossoM, but unfortunately for them, those swaps cost them ult percentage. They wanted to hold it there. They wanted to end the map. They wanted to go to a game 5, but they had to make these swaps. Now they've got ult deficit. The Dragon Blade is up in just a second here for Decal.
And there's no Transcendence from
Yeah,
Swoon.
exactly. He can make this happen if he can get into the backline. Seabag's trying to make it happen. Look at this coordination here. Again, WGS, better coordination tonight overall.
Primal Rage ready to go. Decal just poking out from underneath.
He's got the blade
now.
now.
Has the blade. Lastro can even escort him forward if they need to.
Here we go.
That's going to be the blade pulled out. Lastro pops that Transcendence. The first one's going to fall. It's going to be the Tori. Let's make it another one. Illicit goes down. Primal Rage finds Ons. Mineral's dead. Can't use his own ultimate. Sia's still in the mech trying to play forward, but the Discord Orb makes very quick work of that, and the Baby Diva will go down. They're rounding the corner. Not too much further left to go. Less than 20 meters
How much more can Ons do?
WGS with 30 seconds on the clock, but Decal gets picked. Ons does find a massive opening for them.
They need to get out of the spawn. They need to get out of the spawn here.
The res comes down. Seabag doesn't have the Primal Rage to keep him smacked in there. Mineral's going to jump into the back. Ons goes over to the Doomfist, but gets eliminated right off the start of the fight. FaZe finding that kill. No ultimates available for WGS. They just have to try to grind this one straight out as Decal gets closer and closer to another Dragon Blade. Lastro getting jumped on.
Here it is!
He gets it available. He draws it out. There's a self-destruct ready to go. He's got to get away from the explosion. Will just get taken down. The explosion comes through, but Lastro sitting on the card. He's all by himself. Nobody else pays attention. And WGS, like the Foxes before them, will come up with an upset. They put a win on the board. The best record that they have in Contenders so far. And BlossoM, the anticipated victor in this match, will be exiting Season 2 without a single match win.
And there's the yin and the yang of Overwatch. There's the mechanical skill of individual players, and there is the coordination that brings it all together. Tonight, mechanical skill was what BlossoM tried to use once again to win a series, trying to rely on their Widowmaker player, their DPSs more than anything else. But as it was shown in that final attack, miracles can happen. And it was incredible to see the patience of Lastro on the Transcendence. Decal coming through the Dragon Blade. This series was pretty overall low-key. No real win for either team who it takes the win tonight other than pride. But I think in this moment, we saw WGS play their best attack ever off the back of Decal building these blades. Suddenly, they hit their stride. The coordination that they had, which was better, I think, than BlossoM all series long, came to a head in this moment where they're able to pull everything around this Genji player. BlossoM lost control. Ons couldn't have the impact he wanted to because there were Genjis flying at him left or right. It was just one man, Decal, but he had these blades so fast it felt like it was more than one Genji that was coming at him. And WGS, they do it. They win a series, they defeat BlossoM. They were the underdogs again tonight, just like the Foxes, as you mentioned just before. And two great series we had here. I think the big takeaway, there's two big takeaways, really. One is WGS has improved a lot from Season 1. They came out with a great trials record. The coordination is better. The strategical depth is better. And for BlossoM, I think the same problems that plagued them in Season 1 show up a little bit more glaring here at the end of their Season 2 run. They're going to have to do more than just rely on Ons as a Widow. They're going to have to do more than rely on individual skill. Something's got to change, or they may not find themselves in Season 3.
Yeah, Too much reliability on Ons with the Widowmaker. Tries to swap over to the Doomfist, trying to, be flexible right there at the end. The home stretch for WGS, but they cannot shut down that push. Decal with that Dragon Blade coming in. They invested everything on the initial push into trying to get that built up. We see it, doesn't do too much. Second one comes in, just crushing from there. Every single blade after that just kind of got better and better.
Yeah.
And just helped advance WGS along. I mean, they barely completed point A, managed to make their way through the hangar, and then get the win to close it out in the end. Absolutely crazy day. This was supposed to be the day that you could kind of write off, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to come back. They're going to see the the match thread on competitive Overwatch or something like that on Reddit, and they're going to be like, wait a second, wait a second, like BlossoM lost, Fox's what?
Yeah,
what happened?
I think everybody,
I got to watch these VODs now.
I think everybody who's ever played any competitive game, whether it was like a tournament or just like a ranked game, knows that feeling of like, you were losing, you were down and out, and then suddenly you start winning, and then everyone on the team's on the same page, and everyone's communicating really well, everyone's in the zone.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened in the series, but I think especially what happened on Gibraltar there for Decal and the rest of the squad. I mean, Lastro's patience there, it gave me chills. Like, I got really hyped in those last moments because you could just feel like BlossoM is dead. Like, they have like no time. They had no time bank. Their time bank was so weak, but when they touched B, like to me in my mind at that moment, watching how Lastro and Decal were playing together, when they pulled that blade and got B, like I felt like that Dragon Blade cut BlossoM out of the game. Like from that moment on, they never, ever, ever had any stake on